When I first started in this business, it was critical that I learn how to get the owners to finance me when I bought houses. So in this episode, we're going to talk about how to get the owner to finance you a house. When I first started out, I was broke, so it was critical that I learned how to get owner financing on a house. That was the only way I could really get a house. So let's talk about that. It's even a better day when you get a great deal on a house and the seller finances it to you and you don't have to take any money out of your pocket or go looking for a loan. Today we're going to talk about what properties have the highest prospect of the seller financing you the sale. We're also going to talk about, can you seller finance a house with debt? Or can someone seller finance you a house if they owe money on it? And then last but not least, what is the avatar of a seller financier? What do these people that finance houses to people like you and me, what do they have in common? What do they look like? All right, stay with me. We're going to go over it. So what properties have the best potential for seller financing? The properties that have the best potential are free and clear. Let's use an example. Let's say a man bought a house 15 years ago for $100,000. And today, he's depreciated this house out long ago. He's run out of depreciation. His CPA's let him know, you probably need to sell this thing because you're not getting any more depreciation. And this house is now worth $450,000. This person makes a good living already and already pays, in the 20% tax bracket. If he gets a windfall of an additional $350,000, which is $450,000 sales price minus the $100,000 that he paid for the property 15 years ago, he's going to net $350,000. And that $350,000 on top of his regular income is going to push him into the maximum tax bracket in the United States of America. And that's too much tax. There's a way that this man can avoid that tax or avoid taking all of that money at one time by seller financing someone like you or me. When this guy figures out that he could sell this property to Mitch Stephen or you and just take $20,000 down or $30,000 down or $50,000 down and then not receive any more money for that year except for whatever payments you make, then this starts to make sense to the seller. The seller's found a way to just get a little bit of the money every year in the form of monthly payments. And then he'll only have to add that little bit of money every year to what he makes, and it won't push him into the highest tax bracket in the world. That's one avatar we're looking for. That's one person we're looking for, one type of person. But it's not just the person, it's the house. And remember, in this example, the house is free and clear. Can you seller finance a property that has debt on it? Sure you can. The word that we all use for that is sub 2, which means you would be buying a house subject to some existing debt. So when you hear people talking about, hey, I just bought a house sub 2, what they're saying is they gave somebody some down payment or some form of payment, and then they took back the payment book, and the seller signed the deed to them and made them the owner of the house. But the house had liens on it, so you have to take the house subject to the liens. So the answer is yes, a seller can finance you the house even if it has debt on it. But you'll want to talk to your attorneys about this. This is very intricate, and you need to know exactly what you're getting into. I myself am not a licensed attorney nor a licensed financial advisor, so I'm going to advise you, if you're buying houses subject to someone else's debt, that you make sure you have an attorney to tell you exactly what kind of pot you're in. So what do seller financiers look like? What do people that are likely to seller finance you the house, what do they look like? Well, they probably don't need money. They've been savers. They may want to leave a legacy for their family or their family members or their children. They may have this money in a retirement plan and they don't need any more money. They just need to get paid over time. There's a lot of reasons and a lot of different ways this seller financier can postpone or defer taxes. We just have to get good at knowing who are these people. There are also people that are sick and tired of gambling in the stock market, and they're sick and tired of 1% CD rates at the local bank. They want to make a decent rate of return. And if they leave that money with you, instead of taking it all in cash and setting it over in the bank, if they leave the balance of that money with you, you will pay them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. If they get all the money from you and then they have to put it in the bank, first of all, they have to pay tax on all the money. So that means they won't have all of it racking up interest. They'll just have what's ever left over after they pay taxes. And then they're going to take that amount and they're going to put it in the bank, and the bank's going to give them 1%. Why don't we talk to them and explain to them, hey, if you just leave the money there in the house, I'll make payments on that money to you at 10%. And I'll give you interest and a little bit of principal every month over the next 20, 25, 30 years. See if it makes sense to them. Before I tell you the number one way to find out if there's a likelihood that you can get a seller to finance you, let me ask you to do one thing. Hit that like button for me, hit that share button, and please subscribe if you haven't already, because I know lots of ways to further your house flipping career or to help you get ahead financially. I got 20 years of experience. And while I'm not claiming to be God's gift to the world about anything, I am telling you this. I've been in this business for over 2 decades. I had over 2,000 deals that worked out. There were thousands of deals that didn't work out. I just have a lot of experience in one arena, and I'm willing to share it with you, and it's all free. The number one way to get a seller to finance you is you have to ask. But before you even ask, you have to start to recognize that there's a potential or a strong potential that the seller might say yes. And we do this by asking viable questions. You have to ask questions. And the more questions you get answers to, the more you can start to hone in on if this house has a high probability that the seller will finance it to you. Questions like, how much do you owe? If the seller comes back and says 0, we just gained a few points in the seller financing column over here. If they say, why are you selling? And he says, I want to start a legacy for my grandchildren, or I'm planning for my grandchildren's college fund. We know this guy's a saver. We know that he doesn't want to go blow the money. We know that he's willing to take this over time because his grandson's not ready for college now. He's putting an account for the college in the future. So it starts to give us clues that this person might consider seller financing us the house. One of the questions you can ask is, what are you going to do with this profit from this house when you sell it? Some of these questions seem bold, but if you just let them roll off your tongue, you ask directly and you sound very sincere, which we know you are, they'll answer you. Most of the time, you get more answer than you want, but they'll always answer. And then we can start to figure out. If they say, well, I don't know, I need to invest it somewhere, there's your sign. What do you want? Ask them, can I show you a place you might invest the money? You can invest it with me by financing me this house, and I'll pay you interest, and I'll pay you out over time. It's a rate of return, just like any other investment vehicle they're going to consider. The biggest reason more investors like you and I don't get sellers to finance us the house is we don't ask. We forget to ask. We don't even ask. How can you expect to get the seller to finance you a house if you don't even ask him? That's been the biggest reason overall. Most people don't ask. I'd like to sincerely thank you for watching all the way through this episode to the end. And because you've done that, I want to offer you the first 100 pages of my book, My Life in 1,000 Houses, Failing Forward to Financial Freedom. I'd like to offer it to you for free as a digital download. If you'll just go to 1000houses.com right now, you can scroll through the homepage, see that offer on the homepage, get that first 100 pages free. In about 30 seconds from now, it can be yours. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for staying to the end, and I hope to see you at the next episode.